Hey, this message is for somebody who is either currently nauseous or who has some sort of known or unknown health issue that is causing nausea or like stomach upset in general. Um, you may actually have an autoimmune disorder that you've been diagnosed with, or yeah, like some sort of medical condition that you've been diagnosed with, or you may be trying to find a diagnosis because it's been going on for a while. But if not, if you're just nauseous while you're here, I'm not saying that it's like a bigger issue or anything like that. It's just a confirmation that this message is for you. If neither of those things resonate with you, then you're here just because you're a Virgo sun, moon, rising, or Venus placement. And let's get some messages for you. What's going on with Virgo right now, Spirit? What is going on with my Virgos? Ooh, there's a lot going on. Which is not surprising. We're in a very chaotic time right now, but let's go ahead and go through this. We've got Seven of Stones, healing. Seven of Stones means pentacles, for those of you who are tarot readers yourself. We've got Nine of Stones, again, pentacles, tradition. And this one came out in the reverse. We have number 8 in the major arcana, the stag, which I believe is strength. Let me just double check that. Yep, strength. We've got Four of Stones, again, pentacles. You're really in with the pentacles. Yeah, Four of Pentacles, protection. And Eight of Stones or Eight of Pentacles, skill. Wow, okay. You're really working on your material blessings right now. And a lot of it is coming in. I think that with the Seven of Stones, I'm seeing like the cultivation of something. And this is something that's very healing. If you have had a difficult relationship with finances, or with work in general, then you're healing that right now. Or you are acquiring the funds that are necessary to like really make the most out of your healing journey. So for some of you, that may be being able to afford going on a trip or paying like a shaman or a curandera or someone to do a spell or a cleansing for you or something like that. We've got the Nine of Stones in reverse. 9 is a number of like witchiness, the herbalist. It's the mother's number, the mother wound. I really feel like there is this. You are healing part of you is healing your mother wound. Through the way that you actually look at traditions. So you may actually be looking at the traditions that are in your family. No, it is that you're looking at the traditions in your family or in your community, and you are, in some cases, some of you may be actually looking at the traditions and saying these are harmful. They've caused patterns in me that are not serving me, that are harming myself or others. And so I'm not going to continue with this traditional path. Others of you are looking at your family's traditions, maybe more ancient traditions, and saying, we strayed from these traditions. My family strayed from these traditions, or I've strayed from these traditions. And therefore, that is the reason why we're dealing with XYZ, with the patterns that I'm dealing with, you know? And so you might be embracing some older traditions that you have either lost or walked away from at some point in time. Then we've got the stag, the strength card. And I feel like this is you standing in your power and your strength, and really showing people you're like leading by example. You're leading by example. And this is creating, we've got, the four, which is, four is a number of stability and, um, a happy home life. And we see it's like all about protection. So I feel that you're creating for yourself a very powerful practice, a powerful spiritual practice. And this is also not something that is just like healing yourself, you're also healing others. So when we're looking at this Seven of Stones and the healing in the Seven of Stones, um, this is healing all around. This is like you're in both positions here. You're the person being healed, and you're the person who is healing somebody else, right? So you have this ability, this capability, and you're really stepping into it right now. You are really stepping into it right now. And I just feel this like pride from your ancestors. And also, I feel that there are people around you who are very proud of you. They may be they may be people who are older, more mature in some way, but like it's like someone that you look up to, who maybe even like gave you this inspiration. I want to say inspiration. It's like they gave you a word, an instruction of some kind, and then that set you on a path, right? And so this person, or whoever this is, it might even be an ancestor or a spirit guide of some sort, is looking at you with so much pride and admiration and just love for who you're blossoming into. And not just who you're blossoming into like for yourself, but the person that you're becoming to change the world around you, right? Eight of Pentacles in reverse. There's definitely a skill that you're building. You're not at the point where you can like confidently claim, yeah, I can heal you. Like if somebody comes to you and they say, hey, can you do this healing ceremony on me? I think that you are still in the moment where you're building up the skills to do that. And so I think that it's important for you to remember to be very ethical about that right now. There are friends who might be willing to allow you to practice your skills on them, your healing skills, which is what you need. But you need to be able to be very, very honest and transparent with them, where you say, I am experimenting with this healing ceremony. I'm experimenting with this spell, with this whatever. Would you be willing to allow me to experiment on you, to practice on you? Not telling them like, yes, I can absolutely do that. I feel like honestly, some of you sitting here might be going like, well, I am a certified Reiki healer or something like that. And so I don't mean to discredit or invalidate your credentials, things that you have worked this hard for, but it feels like whatever it is that you're stepping into is a lot more than what you've been doing. You're stepping into a capacity that is requiring more from you than what you have been needing to give. So for example, let's say you're a yoga teacher and you're certified. You even teach classes where people come to you and they say, wow, this thing that you did, it really healed me. It really helped me. That is great. Continue to claim the title of a yoga teacher. And also don't stop there. It seems like there is, and take this as it resonates for you. So it might not be yoga teacher, it might be something else. That's just an example. But it's like if you're a yoga teacher and like you're good at that, that's not what it is that that you're being called to. Like, you're being called to do that and that plus, right? Um, and so you haven't actually reached the level of the and of the plus. So while you can continue to accept the title and claim the title of yoga teacher or whatever it is that you are an actual expert in, um, be aware of the way that you are speaking of your healing gifts to others. Okay? This is going to apply only to some of you. It's not going to be for everybody. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Bows, which is the Wands, Knight of Wands, and the Fox Spirit that came out in reverse. There's a need to slow down. There's a need to slow down. You're creating something. So yeah, this is kind of like what I was saying, is like you're creating something, and I think that maybe you're tempted to claim more than you have actually cultivated at this point. I think that you are tempted to claim it because you have noticed, like, for example, some of you may notice that your psychic gifts, your mediumship maybe is blossoming, and so you're going around and telling people, yeah, I'm a psychic and a medium. I think that it's one thing to claim being psychic and medium as an individual person, but if you are claiming those titles as a healer, like, I will heal you with my psychic gifts, I'm offering healing from the position of mediumship, that's a little bit of a different story. So I feel that you are in that moment where you are actually noticing some very powerful gifts that are emerging for you, and that it is time to claim those gifts and stand in your power. And it is also a time to practice humility. It is a time to practice respect for, I was taking a class on, it had to do with psychedelics. And there was a woman who came in, and she was what we call mestiza in Latin America, which was that she is considered white, really, in Latin America, but she has indigenous ancestry as well. And this is very, very common for people in Latin America, that even though they're white, they also have a significant amount of indigenous ancestry, and they're still like relatively close to that indigenous ancestry and those indigenous practices, right? And so she came in and she was talking to us from the perspective of someone who has been doing the work to decolonize herself. And so one of the things that she came in saying was like, in the Mayan tradition, if you're sitting with the mushrooms, you're not allowed to serve them until you're at least 50 years old. And there were people in that group that were significantly younger than 50, under 25, a lot of them, who were arguing with her, because they, as white people, they believed that they were entitled to be able to serve the medicine if they wanted to. And she told us this story about a healer that she went to, as she was a mestiza woman going to this woman who was a white woman. And this white woman had not done her own work to decolonize yet. And she was very well-meaning. But this ceremony that she did, this psychedelic assisted ceremony that she did for this woman, ended up causing a lot more harm than it actually helped anything. And this was because this white woman was perpetuating practices that were whitewashed, and they were like, they really were missing some key parts, some key components from indigenous wisdom. Okay, so this is something you need to know, regardless of your gender or your race, that there are some healing arts that you can do more damage trying to present yourself as an expert in that than you would do good. You can do a significant amount of damage to somebody, and this isn't, it's like you can do damage to people of, like, if you're white, you can do damage to people of color, but you can also do damage to other white people. It's not, I'm not really making it like a race thing. I'm showing you that there are like some things that, even though we want to be able to claim them, we have to really learn. For example, going back to yoga, yoga is right now a very popularized medicine, but it's not really treated as a medicine. It's treated as an exercise, a workout. But yoga itself comes with so many principles and philosophies that when the practice isn't paired with those principles and philosophies, then it loses its power. And so you could only really say, I'm a yoga teacher, if you have actually studied yoga, not just physically, but religiously, philosophically, right? So there are some healing practices that are very much like that. Actually, a lot of them are. And so I am feeling like there's a big caution coming out that's saying, like, even though you're seeing this healing skill really presenting itself very prominently in your life, you need to take a step back and you need to actually study right now. I'm talking crack open some books, talk to some experts, some elders in this tradition that you're looking at, that you feel skilled in. Take a class. There's like, you may feel like you're at a loss as to how to connect with people like this, but I actually recently had a conversation where I was with someone where I was saying, you know, like, I'm doing this research project about how to practice matriarchy, because I want to help reconnect to matriarchy. And but I'm very worried because in my family's tradition, we were disconnected from our indigeneity, even though, you know, I'm also, you know, Latin American, so I do have those closer ties to my indigeneity than, you know, people in the United States tend to. But I was disconnected. And so I was saying, I feel like it is, like, maybe it's unethical for me to be exploring this when I don't have elders to speak to, and I should be consulting with elders. And this person that I was talking to said, well, where are you getting your sources from? Who are you reading? Are they elders? And I thought about it and I was like, yes, I am actually prioritizing research and academic sources from elders, from people who are elders in their tribes of origin. And so this person said to me, well, then you are consulting the elders. That's like that's what it is. So I feel like there are ways for you to consult elders by following people on social media who are elders, by reading books, watching documentaries and things created by, or participated in by elders in their tribes and communities and stuff like that. There are classes that you can take at times. You just have to like do some digging. You might have to take some time to form friendships with people before you start asking them for help and for guidance. So there are ways of doing this, and you just have to be a little bit creative. You have to be a little bit creative about the way that you go about it. So let's just get some advice from you from this Animal Spirit Oracle deck. Wow. This, so many messages want to come out for you. Okay, so we've got so many. We've got Antelope Spirit. Life is speeding up for you. This is number 2 in the deck. Yeah, things are going very, very quickly. And you may be feeling like it's going quicker than you can actually keep up with. So, for example, if you're like a tarot reader or something like that, you may be getting more commissions, more requests, more bookings than you feel like you can keep up with. It's not a bad thing. We're seeing the number 2, so 2, honestly, it could be it's a relational number. It's not necessarily specifically a relationship number. So this could actually be like relationship to self, coming into a more grounded relationship to self, because it feels like there's this very like airy energy of like, see how he's kind of like disappearing in the background. Yeah, a little bit of an airy energy, and so there's a need to ground. We've got Chameleon Spirit, act as if, number 14. This is pretty much saying like fake it till you make it. Got the number 1 for new beginnings, 4 for stability, harmonious home life and family life. Put them together, they make the number 5, which is the number of spirit, like a divine plan. So yeah, this is Panther Spirit, number 44. Reclaim your power. Okay, so then some of you may have been in this, reading this long, going, because you're going like, yeah, I really need to slow down, because I feel that I'm here because I do feel that I'm going a little bit too fast. And so I feel like this Panther Spirit and reclaiming your power is actually here to tell you, like, wait, don't slow down that much, because you can also allow that belief that you're not allowed to pursue things stop you from pursuing things. So just like I had that teacher that was like, hey, if you're reading academic sources that are written by the elders of their tribes, then you are consulting the elders, right? That was something that helped me to move forward with continuing to do this research, right? Okay. So, sorry. You might have some throat chakra stuff going on, like a blockage, or feeling like you're trying to use your voice, and when you're trying to, you're still running into some obstacles, and also but you're still trying. I feel like you're still using your voice, you're still putting forth that effort, which is very admirable. And also, it's important to look at what your body is telling you, right? We've got Armadillo Spirit here, so I think that that's very relevant with setting boundaries. It is time to set healthy boundaries. So it's so funny how like sometimes it just takes me to the end of the reading to kind of like pull it all together, but I'm really feeling like this you're aware and you're being very respectful about not pursuing traditions or titles that don't belong to you. I think Spirit is saying it does belong to you, even if it's not yours yet, even if you're still cultivating it. It does belong to you. And while it belongs to you, you also need to set healthy boundaries around this thing. So that like you know that you're not, it's like you know that you're not claiming, like you're somebody who recognizes like, I may be feeling called to shamanic work. I am not a shaman, although I am building my shamanic skills, right? Um, and so you are, but I think that sometimes you also go to the other end of the spectrum where you're like, since I can't claim the title of shaman, then I am also not claiming the title of healer. I am also 444, by the way, might be significant to you. Um, yeah, it's like you're like, I don't want to claim that title of healer because I'm not a shaman. But there are steps between being becoming a healer, becoming a shaman, becoming whatever, like there's like steps to there. So it's important that you stop seeing yourself as a beginner. You're not a beginner anymore. You are an intermediate. Okay? You're an intermediate on your way to advanced. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. That you're no longer a beginner. You're on your way to advanced. And so you need to kind of like shift the way that you talk about yourself and your spiritual gifts and your spiritual path, your spiritual calling. We've got Nine of Swords. This is advice on how to move forward. Nine of Swords in reverse, meaning that this is, again, need to set healthy boundaries. There's something that's been keeping you up at night and has been distracting you. Oof, those cars out there, pretty loud. Something that has been keeping you up at night, it's been distracting you. So there's a need to set boundaries between yourself and that situation or that person. There's a King of Pentacles in reverse. Needing to watch your finances. I feel like there may be a little bit of overspending at this point. Maybe a little bit of spending on material things that you don't need and are maybe even accumulating clutter that is unhealthy for you, unhelpful for you. And so, yeah, it's important to steward your money correctly, but it's also important not to be bringing things into your home that are carrying energy that is not good for you, that doesn't serve you, that's not meant for you, right? We've got Five of Pentacles. Okay. This is a card about, feeling like there's a long road ahead. It can also be talking about union. You may be having difficulty in a relationship, especially like a long-term relationship. And this actually, it might be like a marriage relationship, but it might also be like a business partnership. So whatever that is for you, whether it's marriage, business, family, but it's like something that is causing you a lot of discomfort and not just discomfort, because discomfort is not bad, but it's like, yeah, it's something that's leaving you out in the cold. It's something that is not allowing you to actually care for your needs and for the needs of others. And this is something that's more like in the physical realm, so it's affecting your ability to be present and connected to the spiritual realm. We've got the Chariot in reverse. Again, a need to slow things down and a need to gain mastery over the mind. So there might be like some mental health issues going on here, or it just might be like lack of mindset, or the inability to set boundaries sometimes could be like something that we need to overcome in our mind. But it's like the need to overcome this anxiety. And then we've got the King of Wands, which is upright. Something you need to know. This anxiety that you're having about something, it's like unnecessary anxiety. There are times when worry and anxiety are warranted, they're necessary, like even for survival. And you need to know that this thing that you're worried about and you're anxious about is not necessary for your survival. You can actually like forget about it and it wouldn't impact your life. I'm going to say that again. You can forget about it and it wouldn't impact your life. Like, even if you were to lose a friend, lose a job, a position of security for yourself, by forgetting about this thing and letting it just sort itself out, those things would be necessary for you to lose regardless. Those things would be lost regardless of whether you held on to the situation like this or you just let what happens happen. So you're holding on to this situation like this is not actually changing the outcome. Yeah, it's not changing the outcome. And releasing it allows the outcome to happen quicker, and which allows the rest of everything to like flow into your life. So I'm not saying that you're going to lose something that's important to you, but I am saying that you have to let go and let what happens happen. Again, it's not something for you to hold on to the worry about. Okay, there might be you might be doing that because you're bracing yourself for some emotions that are very uncomfortable. That's okay. Those emotions will come anyways, regardless of whether you're holding on tightly or not holding on at all. Okay. Then lastly, Three of Swords in reverse. You're healing a broken heart. You're healing a broken heart. That's why you need to know that it's okay. That is why you need to know that it is okay to let go of this thing that you've been worrying about. Okay. Lastly, on the bottom of the deck, we have Temperance. Okay, there's a need to be balanced, need to be patient. I think you know that. I think you know that you've been kind of like running full force at something, and that at this point you're like, I have gone as far and as fast as I can go. And now it is time to actually take a step back, allow things to unfold, allow myself to pursue this path of healing, not only for myself, but to be a healer to others. Okay, I hope that this helps. If this message resonated with you and you need more messages of clarification, empowerment, feel free to check out any of the other zodiac signs that I recorded for. I'm going to be hopefully finishing the rest of the zodiac signs this weekend. So stay tuned for that and make sure that you check back and subscribe so that you can be there for the other videos that I'm putting out in the near future. All right, thank you, and I hope you have a great day.